Welcome to Good News Week for the very first time in 1999. And what a year it's been so far. As the coalition celebrated its third year in office, the Prime Minister was still proudly leading us towards the 20th century. He watered down his ministerial code of conduct again, so ministers are now allowed to keep shares in companies related to their portfolios. But Howard claimed his old code of conduct was merely being upgraded to a new cutting-edge model used by big organisations, like the International Olympic Committee. Inside the Labour Party bunker, Kim Beazley was forced to make a stand against Laurie Brereton's rumoured leadership aspirations. Kim said if anyone had plans to become leader of the Labour Party, it was him. But it's a storm in a teacup. The whole leadership debate is just a publicity stunt to promote the new Labour Party children's book, Where's Beazley? Where you have to find Kim in a big crowd of Laurie Breretons. Sadly, the book has been a failure because it turns out Beazley isn't there at all. As we moved into 1999, simulation tests for the Millennium Bug were happening in earnest all over the world. However, to accurately recreate New Year's Eve conditions in a laboratory, everyone needs to be extremely pissed and looking for someone to grope. Australian rugby league players are in hot demand. After months of speculation and controversy, an angry Queensland government now says Baywatch is a tawdry and vulgar show, and good riddance to it. But if there are any other producers of tawdry, vulgar shows out there, they'd be happy to talk to them. The good news is, David Hasselhoff has now revealed why the show went to Hawaii. The Baywatch cast didn't want to come to the Southern Hemisphere because they'd have to run along the beach on their heads. Politicians are to get a private screening of Lolita in Parliament House this month as part of a growing push by coalition backbenchers to ban the film. John Howard, meanwhile, is reluctant to go to the cinema with his ministers. Last time he was in a dark room with the cabinet, Peter Costello started sucking on his neck. Trying to find an artery. The good news is a TV screening of the original version of Lolita has been cancelled, but it will be replaced by a 2-hour children's special, The Wonderful World of Zig and Zag. John Elliott has apologised for his speech in Melbourne recently when he described Aborigines as a forgotten race, land rights as a do-gooder problem, and the Prime Minister as a shade boring. All through the speech, Elliott had his trademark cigarette in hand, but he's not really a smoker. It's to grind into the eyeball of any Indigenous or unemployed person he might meet. After the speech, Elliott got a warm round of applause. Then they all settled back to be entertained by a couple of young women from the Jelly Wrestling for the Dole scheme. Happily, John Elliott now says he's sorry, claiming the speech was taken completely out of context. He was sober. 2 days after an inquiry found Sydney's Olympic bid breached a slab of guidelines, 6 IOC members were kicked out for engaging in corrupt or inappropriate behaviour. The Australian Olympic Committee said the question of bribing IOC members was all relative. In some cases, it was several relatives. The whole affair has been devastating for Phil Coles. His Olympic career is in tatters, and he's being deserted by friends and business associates. But at least he can still turn for comfort to Shane Warne and Mark Waugh. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the good news. Thank you, good evening. Tonight, in lustrous new surroundings, the team leader of the club that's made for you and me, Mikeyrs, Mikey Robbins. Part-time politician and full-time enchantress, the deputy leader of the Democrat, Senator Natasha Stott-Despoja. And the funniest man in Melbourne after Jeff Kennett, the people's champion, Anthony Morgan. And they're enjoying the champagne and caviar with a team leader who has a heart as big as all outdoors and a competitive streak a mile wide, Julie McCrossin. Actor, comedian, phone salesman, Melbourne's favourite heartthrob, Rhys Muldoon. and the multimedia monogamous megastar that is Amanda Keller. Are you ready, customers? They're a rebel in here, a rebel. Right, round one, what's the story?
Okay.
Mikey, Natasha, Anthony, what's going on here?
Yes,
It's a truck with blokes on it. That's just a bloke with no truck.
It's the
Oh,
Defence
it's not a
Minister.
truck! That's a truck spewing out blokes.
That was the Defence Minister, John Moore.
What's he like?
What? Which one was he?
I think you
He's
can
the
tell he's a pretty hip and happening kind of guy.
I look at him, I think, now that's a sexy dude. They're talking about positioning Australian troops in Darwin because it's the best way to get them pissed on a regular basis. Hey, let's get a bunch of really well-armed guys and put them in the heaviest drinking capital of Australia. Hey!
It's in fact the biggest troop movement since the Vietnam War, and let's think about how successful that was for Australia.
Natasha, is it?
Oh, yeah. Let the communists overrun Australia.
Are you saying this is just to create the impression that unemployment is down by moving the army around and making a gap where the army used to be?
Well, I'm
So that young kiddies have to fill that gap? Because some of the long-term unemployed would very much appreciate
it's a work for the doll
free
project.
clothes and dental care.
It's actually a get shot for the doll scheme.
That's right.
And the amazing thing is it's part of a strategy where they reckon we will have we can respond to any situation within 28 days. So if you're thinking of starting a war, seriously. So if you're thinking of starting a war around about, say late April, give us a ring now. We'll be there. We'll be ready.
That'd be good if Social Security ran the Defence Ministry. It would, yeah.
Anthony Morgan!
I thought they did.
Right, you'd declare war on someone and then it wouldn't start for another 6 weeks. Unless you'd been sacked. Then it wouldn't start for 12 weeks.
They are right, ladies and gentlemen. 5 points to start the game. Under a new $300 million initiative, the Australian Army has announced it will now have 11,000 combat troops based in Darwin and ready for war in 28 days.
Does that mean February is the only time they can invade anywhere?
It's because there's so many women in the army now. We need a month to get ready in case we get our period. We've got to do our hair.
That's when you send them in to do battle. I'm thinking PMT and a rocket launcher. Dangerous combination.
Why don't we just clear all the kids off the streets who are on heroin and tell them the guy behind all those soldiers has got $50?
Chikarovsky's latest great plan is to go like her big, one of her latest pork barreling things is to go, we want to set up $1 million Battle of the Bands thing so that kids don't take drugs. Put them into a rock band, that'll stop them taking drugs. Yeah.
Hi, remember me?
Oh, the little man wants his show back.
Defence Minister John Moore said 11,000 troops might be used to get the 10,000 Australians out of Indonesia. While 1,000 of the troops create a diversion, the rest will each grab an Australian and run. A Defence Department spokesman said the Indonesian government are aware of the deployment and have no complaints. All they want to know is the precise geographical location of Darwin. The force will be within striking distance of Indonesia should it descend into chaos after the elections. They'll also be within striking distance of the Gold Coast should it descend into chaos during Schoolies Week. Julie, Rhys, Amanda, what's the story?
Oh, an interesting man with fetch hair, which I love.
Watching a glass of water,
A bit of a
some
poem.
writing, and a big fat bloke walking through
Is
a
that
paddock.
Les Murray?
Hey, back off.
Yep.
This would have to be about the preamble, wouldn't it? That Prime Minister is writing to our Constitution. Imagine him sitting down with a crown. Liz Murray, a good choice, I think. I was expecting something a little more daggy, like maybe Pam Ayres. You know, as I sit upon my little chair, I think of Australia and my eyebrow hair.
Apparently, John Howard wanted to bring Les Murray in as a poet because he couldn't find a word to rhyme with bucket.
Isn't it Phuket?
But it does worry me a little, even though Les Murray is an internationally acclaimed Australian poet, albeit...
What's he acclaimed for? Because his poems are crap.
Mate,
The views of Anthony Morgan are not necessarily those of this station. Glenn.
changed.
I love your work, Les. I think it's great.
I admit that one of Les's
I hate
last...
your work, Les. I think it's crap. I think you should break all your pens.
Actually, I tell you who should have done it. Thomas Keneally. Blow the whistle, Governor General. Blow the whistle, Governor General.
Clearly he's chosen Les Murray because the title of his latest book is Subhuman Redneck Poems. That's the title of his latest book, but I think the Warumpi Band have come up with the greatest one, which is Jalanguru, Jalanguru Pakanu, which has just got out of jail today. Should be the preamble.
And they are right, ladies and gentlemen. 5 points.
The first words that John wrote were a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away.
I'm having trouble because were you saying there's only 2 words that rhyme with Australia?
A failure genitalia.
Failure genitalia. Where can you go with that?
I don't know. I could go a long way. Matter of fact, I already have. John Howard, the man who brought us such literary visions as incentivation, non-core promise, and not a new tax system, has asked Australian poet Les Murray to help him write the preamble to the new constitution. The government was going to get 1 million monkeys with 1 million typewriters to do it, but they're too busy writing the unfair dismissal laws. John Howard, of course, has tried his hand at writing before, but Mills and Boon rejected his first romantic novel, Trade Surplus of Desire. I have a question. If Howard gets to mention God in the preamble, will it stop there, or does he get to mention his other invisible friends too? Anyway, knowing our patriotic Prime Minister, he'll probably go for something quintessentially Australian. I love a Menzies country, a land of tax reforms, of dole you have to work for, a Senate that conforms. I love her English monarch. I love her ethnic free, her safety and her comfort, the economically rational land for me. So after one awe-inspiring round of Good News Week, the Robins team are on 5 points. And as bizarre as it might seem, the McCrossin team are on 5 points. It's a joy to be alive, ladies and gentlemen, a joy. Thank you. During the break, as we sold our souls to the devil, both teams were given 3 clues to a recent strange but true story. Robins, Stott-Despoja and Morgan have rosary beads.
And look, there's a little man here at the bottom. Hello.
A flag.
Hey. Oh, well done you.
And
Should I wrap myself in it?
that.
He's cranky.
Yeah.
But I don't like doing this.
And McCrossin, Muldoon and Keller got recycled plastic, hunting,
And you have to sing this with me. You ready?
and this.
In the Navy, lots of men in the Navy, sailing, walking, fish and fun in the Navy.
Try not to join in on everything, okay?
Suddenly, it was like we're all at a big YMCA camp then.
To start round 2, a game we call Giving Headline.
Your mother must be so proud of you.
Mikey will show you a series of headlines. All you have to do is explain the stories which go with them. 2 points for every correct answer. Okay, here we go. Bribed to breed.
Is this a surrogate story?
It is not a Brian Harradine reference.
No, it's that.
If you didn't stop bringing it up, no one else would.
I tell you what, there's unresolved sexual tension there. This is a story about it in the future that they will actually have to give women incentives to have kitties.
Mikey's right. 2 points. Let's move on. Second one. Fish a killer.
Was this the story about the woman who caught the world's biggest blue marlin and was then given a lot of trouble by the sports fishing people because she shouldn't have killed it, she should have returned it back to the wild?
Yes, we're going to go over here, but I won't give it to him.
There was a man who was fishing, I think, in Malaysia or something, and he got gored by a giant garfish.
Garfish.
It got stuck in his side.
That's the story, ladies and gentlemen. Man gored by garfish.
Wait a minute, garfish isn't even real, it's a cartoon cat.
And the last one now, email. Brands offer
Jeff Kennett has actually come out and said that old people should be given email because they love new technology. Jeff Kennett's come out and said that old people should be given email so that way they can keep in touch with their grandchildren.
He's a wily one, that Jeff Kennett, and the Labor Party have been trying to knock him off in Victoria for some time, and finally John Brumby's come up with a strategy that just might work. He's resigned.
They have it, ladies and gentlemen. 8 points for Mr. Mikey Robbins and the Robbins team. At the opening of the 1999 Seniors Expo in Melbourne this week, Jeff Kennett said old people should stop talking about the past and get a computer so they can stay in touch with the younger generation. To old people, Jeff Kennett is the younger generation, which is precisely why they haven't wanted to stay in touch.
Oh, God, I saw this horrible image of old people in chat rooms. I'm wearing a blue cardigan.
Jeff suggested elderly people stop talking about the past because he's genuinely concerned for them. He doesn't want the old dears to upset themselves by remembering how nice it was having public services like hospitals. Kennett is confident all elderly people could afford internet subscription if they budgeted and bought no-name brands instead of splashing out on PAL. Does give them a nice silky coat though. But what's the bet? If these old people set up their own web page, their families won't visit them there either. Yes, not only funny, but tragically true. Ready for some good headline, Julie?
I love headline, Paul.
Here we go. Beasley to keep bare essentials. What's it about?
I think this is about the allegation that Mr. Beasley hasn't been sufficiently sort of aggressive and assertive as a leader.
Bear-like.
Sufficiently like a bear.
Well, actually, I think he wants to stay more like a bear, doesn't he?
Yes,
He wants to stay
He's
cuddly and cute like
he's
a
not going to
bear.
kill any more salmon.
That's right. We're going to bite the heads off tourists. He just wants to sit on the end of girls' beds and look cute with their pyjamas inside him.
That's right, you are right. Thank you, Julie, for that. Moving on. ABC has footage in mouth disease, says irate Martin. What's it about?
This is the shocking business that Ray Martin has only been a straight-down-the-line journalist all his life, has been harassed by a madman with blonde hair who was working for the ABC at the time.
Appalling.
And I think we all felt sorry. I mean, I constantly have people going through my garbage and photographing my children, and I just smile and wave.
Though it seems that most people were offended at Ray's shirt, it seems.
It was, oh my God, designed by someone on acid. It was
I don't know, why would you be so protective about your rubbish if there wasn't something in there?
In there, exactly.
Yeah, like Mike Munro's undies.
There's a scandal waiting to happen.
All the TV jobs he turned down because he'd have to get a haircut.
The fact that he rings up the ABC and says, I want this thing, and she says, OK.
I mean...
What's the ABC? Boom! To the person that said we won't show it, Ray.
I'd just like to say that
I shoot and I vote.
Me now.
I'm going to give you 2 points for that, even though we did go slightly off the rails and just get, I think, a bit personal. Let's go for the last one. Gene, Mix and Hatch adds 2 more legs.
Oh, this is a weird story.
Oh, of course, the Kiss lead singer, the bass player.
They're chickens with 3 legs. They're making... Is that right?
It's not really a third leg, it's just a very lucky chicken.
They are interfering with God's work, and I say, Senator Harradine, do what you
So
can.
basically what we're saying here is the
chicken with 3 legs.
chicken...
Chicken and 3
OK, 2
extra
points for that as well. Thank you very much.
And the bass player from Kiss is doing all this.
At Harvard Medical School, scientists have put drumstick genes into embryo wings and produced chickens with 3 legs. Let's just hope they never make a chook with 8 legs, because technically that would be a chicken spider. Scientists also hope to breed a chicken which will grow breadcrumbs instead of feathers and crap mashed potato. Next game in the one-on-one round is Bites. Natasha, to what does this well-known senator refer?
If self-regulation doesn't work, where there isn't total privatisation. My concern is what happens when there is.
Whatever I expected from politics, it was not watching porn videos with Brian Harradine in a Senate committee room.
You're kidding! So how many boxes of tea? No, sorry.
But obviously, Brian Harradine is referring to, well, at least his perceived, the perceived failure of Telstra to monitor and regulate the 1900 numbers, and they should all be abolished. And
those are the
otherwise,
sex
he's not
lines.
going to sell the remaining two-thirds of Telstra, and not that they should be sold. Not that I have anything against private enterprise, Channel 10, but we know that public utilities should stay in public hands.
Right. 2 points! Brian Harradine has confirmed he wants Telstra in majority public ownership, full stop, end of story. Brian is worried a privatised Telstra will become arrogant, unhelpful and inefficient. In other words, business as usual. Harradine also mistrusts Telstra because they're reducing services to rural areas and won't crack down on phone sex. Telstra said it wouldn't be a problem if more people were ringing up farms to talk dirty to sheep. Amanda, a bite for you from this bloke.
It has a special role in trying to convey some of the optimism, some of the feeling, some of the vigour.
And what an optimistic, feeling, vigorous fella he is.
Well, that's Michael Knight. I think he's talking about the Olympic torch. Have you seen it? It's huge and only slightly smaller than his teeth. Did you see the footage of them testing it? They had it in an extreme wind tunnel. They
But didn't they
had it
have like
underwater.
1,000 AMP shareholders going...
But they had it upside down. I mean, what sort of uncos are going to be carrying this thing?
No, but it'll hit like Mount Gambier or Newcastle, and some guy will just, it'll be a shark earring.
Actually, ex-Mrs. Phil Coles has probably got them as a pair of earrings. And all this hoo-ha about, taking jewellery as a bribe. Am I the only one that's noticed that I think a lot of the athletes are in on this? Have you noticed athletes getting medallions, big gold ones, silver ones, sometimes bronze ones, and only the ones who are successful? If that's not a bribe,
I know, if they've got to
don't
take
know
a
what
long,
is.
hard look at themselves.
That is sick.
I know.
And that's my answer.
She's right, 2 points! Yes, the fabulous new Olympic torch has been unveiled, inspired by a boomerang, the blue of Sydney Harbour and the sails of the Opera House. Yes, the torch is inspired by the Opera House. It looks good on the outside, but the inside needs a match put to it. Designers say the inspiration also came from the graceful, overlapping curves of the zeros on their cheque. The torch is guaranteed not to go out in wind, rain, or while slowly roasting Phil Coles. Fully paid Robbinses now are on 15 big fat points. The check McCrossin inching in front there on 16 points. Anyone could win. I could be bribed. We're now proud to present Bad Street Theatre. Anthony and...
Oh, I tell you what, they love the classics, don't they?
They love the classics. Anthony and Rhys will give us their own purely visual interpretation of a recent news story. Their teammates must decipher it as quickly as they can. Help yourself to a topic.
Go, Morgs.
Come on, go, Morg.
Go, you precise mime artist. Oh, look at that. He's got the whole Marcel thing going already. He's like... Anthony, could you move your lips when you read?
No. It's like when you got Chewy and you're trying to walk.
Okay. Off you go. He's awake.
Oh, he's on. Go, Morgs.
Okay, your time starts.
Okay.
Now.
Oh, Mark Taylor, watch out.
This is mine, right? So I can't make any noise at all.
Well, no, go and make it. If you have to make a noise, make it, but not wordy noises.
You can hear arf.
I think arf will be okay.
Arf.
Dog. Little dog. Little dog.
Panting little dog.
Patting the dog. You're patting a dog. You're...
Dog attack.
Dog bites you.
bites, man.
Dog bites you. I was about... Is it about pit bulls? Kitties? Because that's just... Eye.
Oh, yes.
Eye?
He's taken his eye. Gouged the eye out. It's a killer dog.
It's a killer
and
dog.
he's got a... So, get rid of that eye.
Okay,
the dog.
so you're eyeless.
Yeah.
You've been made eyeless by a doggy. You've scratched yourself to the point where you're bleeding, mate.
That's because I love art.
He's... Do you have a transplant?
What?
Oh, yes! The third eye! The groove in the cheek! Yes! The groove. That's right!
Yeah, they're going to grow cheeks, eyeballs in...
In the cheek!
In the
yes.
cheeks! They're going to grow eyeballs in cheeks. The transplant!
That's right!
This week, doctors in Britain started growing part of a human eye in the cheek of 76-year-old Cecil Creed, who lost his sight when he was a child. I just hope the doctors picked the right cheek. Otherwise, if the sun shines out of Cecil's ass, he'll be able to use it as a reading lamp. Thank you. Cecil Creed has found there are many benefits in having an eye in his mouth. When people try to poke him in the eye, it's easy to bite them. And when really ugly people walk by in the street, it's much easier to avoid eye contact. So long as they don't try to tongue kiss him. Cecil does have to be careful, though. He could be walking down the street chewing on some gum and realise, wait a minute, I don't have any gum. Can I interest you in a bit of bad street theatre, Rhys Muldoon?
Yes. Can I just firstly say that, like, you've bled for the art, okay? I can't...
Yeah, let's see how you go, actor boy.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, shit, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
At least he can't swear when he's miming.
Want a bed? Now, can we just have everyone closing their eyes again? Oh.
Good luck. Thanks,
And
brother.
listen, just a hint, you're allowed to make after noises.
Your time begins now.
Oh, look, he's an actor. He's shaking it out.
You're having a baby. A woman having a baby.
And breastfeeding.
Isn't you?
A woman with small breasts.
A woman has given birth to something that's chewing her.
It's an evil... Is it a devil's spawn? Caesarean. She's had a caesarean. Blood. Alien, when the thing came out. Lungs, you're bringing your lungs.
Whatever it is, I'm glad I wasn't there.
So, there's a baby involved or a heart...
Is it a heart transplant involved
Heart
in the
transplant... Oh.
birth? A woman who'd had...
No woman, a man having a baby. A man having a...
I'm going to hand over to you, Amanda, because it ain't...
Rhys, stop, we get it. Is this
I told you I could swear with my...
Is this men being able to have babies? They're now saying that men will be able to have babies.
But what's the...
Not through their penises. No. No. No, they deserve it.
It's going to come out of their inner organs.
They're going to grow it in their intestines.
Stomach lining?
Gut baby.
In their gut.
Gut baby.
Okay.
Playing the piano. Out of dead people's stomachs.
I might have to stop it. This is the most hideous display of stupidity I've seen for a long time. So, very close. And I'm going to give you 4 points because it was so good. According to one of Britain's top fertility experts, it's now a scientific possibility for men to give birth.
I'm bloody tired. I've been out in the yard birthing all morning. Dropped off a 9-pounder, then went back inside and watched the cricket. Wife cleaned it up.
The pregnancy is sustained when the fetus becomes attached to a male organ with a lot of blood flow, which is how women usually get pregnant in the first place. Oh dear. But when labour starts, there won't be any of these namby-pamby anaesthetics and breathing exercises. Just invite your mates around and rip the kid out with your own bare hands. But if you put on a keg, the term bringing up baby could take on a new unpleasant meaning. And you have to pity the newborn who gets handed to his male mother, goes for the nipple and gets a mouthful of hair and Rexona Sport instead. Of course, there will be teething problems. The hormones released during pregnancy cause the breasts to swell. And in clinical trials, several men severely damage their eye muscles trying to pervert their own cleavage. That lot are now on 20 points. That lot are on 20 points. The game is 7 days in 7 seconds. The teams will see a quick montage of 7 stories from the past week. All they have to do is identify them. Opposing teams may challenge. Okay. And it's really very easy. Let's do it.
Is it a different one or the same?
Okay, that's it. Let's get it started. Anthony, Natasha, Mikey, first story.
Lee Falk, the writer of the fan...
Challenge.
Okay, I'm going to have to throw it over.
The first one was the Pope.
It was.
He's put out a new single and
CD.
a clip and a CD and a clip and everything.
He says Perez in Latin with gorgeous music behind it. Really turns me on.
Yeah.
Straight out of the Vatican. It's a rap track.
And it's called Jagged Little Pope.
Okay, number 2, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Up to Mikey's team for number 2.
Okay, no, that was the fan one. Lee Falk, the creator of the Phantom, sadly died this week.
He's right. Let's go number 3 now. Moving on.
Tim Fisher, there's been speculation about whether he's going to stay on as deputy head of, as leader of the National Party.
Yes.
But he is going to.
Great, thank you. 2 points. Moving back.
Queen Mother, she's in debt.
£10 million in debt because
Spending
of...
too much.
on
Absolute
gin.
spend.
So she's going to sell her liver to a kiddie in India.
Moving back now across this side. Question number 5.
It was South Sydney. I'm not sure if it was Julian O'Neill or not, but it was South Sydney football. And I think it was to do with people taking ecstasies. And
Well, no.
I'm going to throw it back to Mikey.
The NRL won't let South Sydney Rabbitohs ratify Julian O'Neill's contract over some strange incident in some hotel where he couldn't quite find the bathroom.
He's got it. Question number 6. Question number 6. Anybody?
A woman walking along. I think it might be Tasmania. They're going to have reasonable sitting.
Wrong.
It's the land court debate as to whether or not the Gina Reinhardt or Rose Porteous Land... Oh, God, more names than I have.
The senator is wrong.
Thank you.
And what's the name of the woman? The daughter?
Gina Reinhardt.
Thank you. I'm going to give you 2 points for that one. This is so damn exciting, isn't it? And we're going to throw the last one open. $100 if you are a long-term unemployed and you manage to hold down a job for 6 months. It was part of his headline speech. Headline speech?
This week.
Vision speech, vision statement?
Not necessarily, but that was the content.
Well, haven't I been put in my place by the senator?
It's just
yes, Anthony.
Oh, no.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Mr. Beasley's sounding alarmingly like John Howard.
Yes, on this point, Julie.
Yes,
I
but
agree with
fortunately,
you.
he looks completely different.
The stories were the Pope's new CD is expected to become the biggest-selling recording of all time, particularly after people hear his cover of Like a Virgin. Lee Falk, creator of The Phantom, dies. An attempt was made to bury Lee this week, but unfortunately Fred Bassett dug him up.
That's funny.
Tim Fisher denies rumours he's about to resign, but just to be on the safe side, the National Party have put Smokey Dawson on standby. The Queen Mum has a reported overdraft of £10 million. London Hospital is threatening to repossess her hips. Julian O'Neill's attempt to put those very unpleasant allegations behind him are poo-pooed by the NRL. Gina Reinhardt fighting former stepmother Rose in court over Lang Hancock's millions. Gina admits to actually hiring Rose as a maid in the first place, but says she had excellent references from a whole bunch of her husbands. And Kim Beazley outlines his new vision for Australia. Unfortunately, in Kim's vision, Laurie Brereton is a lot closer than he appears to be. So go wild at the end of that. 8 points over this side, 6 points over this side. Still anybody's game. After being accused of going soft, Kim Beazley suddenly released a Labor Party vision statement and held a special caucus meeting to throw his weight around. Their replacement furniture will arrive next week. But people don't realise just how busy Kim Beazley actually has been in these last few months. Busy hiding under his doona, busy standing still pretending to be a tree, busy sitting in question time with his hands over his eyes hoping no one can see him. But he's also agreed with John Howard on the heroin trials and the preamble to the Constitution. Kim only has to side with Howard once more and he'll be legally entitled to a seat on the coalition front bench. The good news is, to lift his profile, Kim Beazley has become the new spokesman for Weight Watchers, showing how a 20-stone man can become invisible. Okay, at the moment, them are on 30 points, them are on 28 points! Prizes, ladies and gentlemen. It is the final round, and now the strange but true thing comes together. Mikey, Natasha, Anthony, you had the rosary beads, the flag.
Viva Italia.
Very nice. And this.
Oh, he's not going to mime again, is he?
For his cat.
Kate Moss.
Okay, Paul, the rosary beads and the little Italian flag obviously mean the Catholic Church.
Jingoes, how?
Because...
All right, that bit's pretty straightforward. Now explain to me why I've been pouncing around.
Because you've got a nice bum, it's going to be good for the ratings, buddy.
I tell you what, if we're relying on my ass for ratings, we're in big trouble.
I'd like to see you and Richard Carlton go ass for ass in an ass contest. I'd back your bums any day. Anyway, they're talking about fashion parades for priests and nuns to show exciting new... what do they wear?
Habits.
Habits.
At the moment, the Roman Catholic clergy have very bad habits.
Yeah.
Do we have an answer to the story?
But it's all part of the new sort of fashionable image for the church, for the Vatican. They've got the CD.
Yo, the Pope's a homie. In fact, the Pope-mobile's going to be low-cut now and play doof, doof, doof music with 40 guys backed in going, lovely lady.
The deep heart of the Roman Catholic Church is trying to get across to the young kids because they're pretty sure that the basic message of Roman Catholicism is something that the kids really want and that they'll dance to it.
Well, I mean, Anthony... Anthony...
Because after all, he is the Lord of the dance.
Yep.
Okay, let's wrap it up here. The Roman Catholic Church, a couple of priests and nuns becoming catwalk models. That's it.
That's right. Yeah, fashion
Pretty
parade.
much it, yeah.
Okay. So have it right, ladies and gentlemen! In a bid to create a more modern profile for the Catholic Church, a group of Italian nuns and priests have become catwalk models at a fashion show in Rome. It started when some nuns misunderstood the instruction to go out and meet the starving, and they joined a model agency. Some of the nuns were so concerned about looking thin, they allowed themselves to be possessed by the devil. After all, nothing keeps your weight down like projectile vomiting. And they've had tremendous success. The best models have become super nuns who don't get out of bed for anything less than 20,000 Hail Marys. Sadly, the Vatican's worst fears have been confirmed. One of the brides of Christ has already applied for divorce from Jesus so she can marry the bass player from Oasis. Julie, Rhys, Amanda, you had the recycled plastic hunting.
And we had...
And that haunting tune.
YMCA, was that other... In the Navy. There's a say the 780.
You get to buy lots of duty-free in the Navy.
You get tattoos all over
You people have rhythm like a metronome.
Now look, this is
is actually a marvellous thing. This is so that young children, no matter how young they are, can contribute to the defence of this nation by collecting plastic, donating...
Julie, stop twisting them like that. I'm getting strangely turned on.
Come on, I just know that they're using plastic to make big warships, aren't they?
A boat.
A boat, but a big one, out of plastic.
A mine seeker.
Yeah, is it?
A mine
A
clearer.
mine clearer. Like a big plate, like a giant Coke
But a
bottle.
really, really big ship, and they have to test it in a big bath because it's made of plastic.
Australian soldiers in a plastic boat.
Navy, for the Navy.
Okay, well, I'm just going to throw it to Anthony.
Right. I think it's fairly obvious that the Australian Navy has absolutely nothing to do. So what they're doing is drifting about in their stupid boats, harpooning bits of floating plastic rubbish.
And now it's a plastic boat. And it's built
right.
like this, and it's got thousands of male and female models all just
That's right.
inside.
So, quick summary.
Big ships that are going to seek mines and destroy them are being made out of plastic.
Is that right, ladies and gentlemen? HMAS Hawkesbury, the Navy's new $200 million plastic mine hunter, began 8 months of sea trials this week. This is the latest innovation after the less than successful experiments with making ships out of cardboard, Play-Doh, loofahs and cheese. And the ship's crew will be dressed entirely in polyester, making it the world's first drip-dry destroyer. The only concern is that with a plastic ship and polyester underwear, on really dry days, the entire crew might be pinned to the deck by static electricity. The Navy commanders who commissioned the plastic ship said they were very happy with the way it turned out, but it still doesn't look quite as good as it did on the front of the box. The benefit of a plastic ship is that it can't be detected by conventional radar. The downside is that it can be picked up by two large blokes and carried away. And ladies and gentlemen, it probably doesn't get any better than this. To legalise shooting galleries. It's not that great for the addicts, but it does give the police some much-needed target practice. But here in the no-holds-barred contest, Mikey Robbins, Senator Natasha, Stott-Despoja and Anthony Morgan scored a pointless 34 points. Yes! Winning nothing over Julie McCrossin, Rhys, Muldoon and Amanda Keller on a meaningless 33 points. There was only 1 point in it. They were robbed. They were robbed. For now, we leave you with the good news that the Prime Minister John Howard and poet Les Murray have finally decided on the constitutional preamble. It reads, "Hooray for the land of us Aussies. As we lie on the beach in our cozies, migrants can come here. There's already some here. At the airport, we sprayed them for mozzies." Good night.
Someone's found a way to give the rotting dead a will to live, go on and never die. It's good news we